DreAllDay.com.
All right, so we are back, Anna and Dre Show. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day.
I'm Anna Dolce.
Also known as
Anna Dolce.
We gotta come up with a nickname for Anna Dolce. Now,
I have a nickname. It's AD.
AD. We need a better nickname than AD. That's just your initials. All right, so somebody asked me once when we did one of these videos, Dre, why you keep touching her thighs? It's because, listen, the camera does not do them justice. But speaking of that, whenever you're out in public, I remember one day Anna told me this. She had went to, you weren't wearing what you're wearing now, but you were wearing something similar this particular day. It was when we were living at the place we lived at before this one.
Yep.
And you had walked to Publix. And I remember I wasn't home when she went to the Publix, the grocery store. She walked there, it's like 5-minute walk. And then she walked back. And then I saw her and I was just telling her that I liked the way they looked on her. And she was like, I wore this outside, but I'm not gonna wear it outside anymore. Remember when you told me that?
Yes, I can't remember what I was wearing.
It was like gray, but it was similar shaped.
Okay.
And she had wore it to the store, and she was like, I'm not wearing this outside anymore. I'm only wearing this in the house. And I was like, why? And you were like, because I could tell the way that dudes was looking at me, like they were looking at me like a piece of meat when I was wearing this, and it made me feel, you were saying it made you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
You remember that day?
I remember that.
Okay,
I just can't remember the outfit.
So the question is, when you are out in public, do you ever notice men looking at you like steak? Like looking at your chest or looking at your legs or looking at your, I don't know, your face? Do men look at the faces like that? Or looking at your feet or any part of your physical anatomy and looking like
yes.
Like a salivating
Welcome
dog?
to being a woman, an attractive woman at that.
All right, so how do you handle it? How does it feel, first of
Story
all?
of
And
my
then
life.
what do you do? What do you do when a man's looking at you like that?
I personally don't like that attention because it's invasive. It's just like, first of all, it's invading my privacy, right? I don't want to be, it's invasive. Like, don't come into, it's like coming into my space almost, right? Like when somebody's looking at you that way, you can't help but to look at yourself that way. Like you notice yourself the same way somebody's noticing you. So I don't like to think of myself as a piece of meat. So I don't like to be looked at as such.
So when a man's looking at you like that, let's say you're at like a Starbucks and you're sitting down, or you're out with your lady friends and you're all females and a dude is looking at you like that. So it ain't like you could say to me like, yo, that dude's looking at me and I can get involved, I'm not there. Or you're by yourself and there's a man looking at you and you're a woman, so it's not like you can walk up to the dude and be like, yo, what the fuck are you looking at? The way that
I do that a lot, actually.
Oh, so what happens?
I do that.
What happens?
If it gets really bad, I'll be like, what are you looking at? Or what? I'll be like, I'll say something, yeah.
And what happens with the man?
I don't remember their responses. They usually get uncomfortable, or they'll have like a cop-out story, or they'll be like, oh, where you from? You know, it's stupid shit. Like, where you from? So they don't have anything. Yeah, they don't have anything. They don't have a comeback. So they either speak up, like, hey, like they let you know they want to speak to you, or they just go away.
So when you notice men staring at you like that, do you think it's, because I remember this girl that I knew in college, right? One day I went to see her and she had on this skin tight outfit. This is back before it was normal for, people wear the tights now. This is back way before this was a normal thing to wear outside. She had on something like that one day. And she had went to school. She was taking summer classes. And she was like, when I went to school wearing this, these dudes all looking at me and it was making me uncomfortable. And she said she had told her aunt about it. And her aunt was old school. Her aunt was like, well, if you didn't dress like that, then the men wouldn't be looking at you like that. You shouldn't dress like that. And the girl said, she was telling me, she was like, I don't agree with that. Like, I think I should be able to wear whatever I want, and dudes should just not stare at me like that because it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? And how do you find a balance for a woman between looking attractive, but also, do you ever feel like you're dressing in such a way that you are the reason that men are acting the way that they're acting? Like the clothes that you choose are forcing them to do what they do? How do you find a balance?
No, I think that I should be able to wear what I want to wear, and men can look, but there is a how you look and how do you make another person feel when you're looking is what matters. I can wear something provocative, which is going to turn some heads, and I accept that. But do I turn heads in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable? Like how you're looking at another person is what's going to make a difference. I don't know how to say this better. If you're like looking at me with the hungry eyes, it's going to make me feel uncomfortable. Right. And I don't think it's my fault. I don't think it's my outfit's fault or how I dress. I think you should have self-control and self-governance to awareness of, hey, this is going to make a woman feel this way, so let me just respect a woman. It's just disrespectful.
So people
don't want to be objectified, men or women. We don't want to be objectified.
That's true. And I'll tell you a quick story. I've been out sometimes, and of course I'm a man. Women don't usually say shit to men, but I've had a woman like say something to me. Like she was like, say something about, you got some nice legs, like you work out or something like that. Or if I got a tank top on, I'm like, yeah, you probably be going to the gym. And they'll say shit, and you could kind of tell every once in a while you might come across a woman who's like that, like the way that a man would be, like sizing you up and objectifying your body. And I've had it happen to me like twice ever in my life, maybe, where somebody was actually verbally saying things to me that I could hear them. And I'm like, it kind of gets annoying because you want to be like, yo, bitch, shut the fuck up. Right. But you don't want to. It's harder for a man because you're not used to it. Yeah. But it made me think, like, damn, is this how women think? Is this how women feel?
What did they say to you?
So, like, I walked past a woman. I had on shorts, and she was like, "Oh, you work out with them sexy legs," and I like said hello to her, but I kept walking, and she was making these comments. As I kept walking, she kept making these comments. Yeah. And I want to be like, yo, bitch, shut the fuck up. Stop talking to me like that.
Can you imagine that happening to you all day, every day?
That's what was my question.
Your entire damn life?
Yes, that's my question.
Ever since you could like walk or had boobs, like that happens all the time.
So do you ever feel like telling a man, shut the fuck up? You ever feel like punching the dude in the face? You ever feel like calling a man that you know to come beat him up? Or what?
I don't get other men involved unless I have to, like unless there's a threat, but I usually handle it myself. And I've said many times, like many times, what the fuck you looking at? I've cursed them out. I told them to shut the fuck up, get the fuck away from me, and I've just cursed them out really, really badly. I've done that before.
Do you ever?
When it gets really offensive.
Are you ever concerned that the man might turn aggressive when you say something like that?
No. I mean, a little bit, but I know that those men are usually not the types to get aggressive.
That's a good point.
And I always do it semi-safely, where I'm at least in a safe distance from them, or there's someone else around me. I wouldn't do it in a dark alley, at night or something like that. Then I would be political there. But I try to protect myself, I'm sure, to make sure that I'm on a safe side before I say something that's gonna blow up in my face.
So here's the question. Have you ever been out somewhere and a man says something to you, but instead of saying something to you as a person, he says something about your physical features? Like he says something about he likes the way your toes look, or nice legs, or something about your breasts. Yes. And what is the impression that a woman gets when that's the first thing that a man says about them? And how do you respond to something like that? If that's the first thing they say is something about your physical body.
To me, that's a man that doesn't have any self-control. He's impulsive, and he'll pretty much go after anything that walks or has boobs. Like he's not discriminating in his choices. He's not selective. He's just basically hungry. He's just or thirsty, whatever they
thirsty
call it.
Thirsty is a better phrase. Yes.
Yeah, thirsty and desperate. Thirsty is desperate, right? So it's a desperate man. So, and I'm not attracted to that. And plus, he has no manners. He doesn't know how to be. He has no manners. He has just bad manners. I think it's crass. That's very,
How to be rough. Like more indirect. Like a man may notice that you have a nice body, but he doesn't have to come out. That doesn't have to be the first thing he says. Like know how to channel that energy. Maybe into some intelligent conversation.
He has to have enough awareness to think that this makes a woman feel objectified. This doesn't make any woman feel good about herself unless she's sick, unless she's.
There's some women who look for that shit though.
Yes, there are some women who look for that shit, but they usually have issues. Usually there's a reason why they seek that attention in that way, delivered in that way. A healthy thinking woman, I don't think she's attracted to that. She wants that.
So if you know that if you look good, so any woman that's out there, like she dresses herself really nice and she knows she looks good. She knows that her chest or her ass or her legs, or her feet, whatever part of her body, her hips is looking good. And she goes out there into the world and she knows that men are going to notice this, right? You notice before you leave the house,
yeah, definitely.
What part of your body men are going to notice that day.
Yeah.
So knowing that the man is noticing it, you still don't want the man, the first thing out of his mouth to be something about that physical body part, because that means he doesn't have a filter to control what the hell he's saying. He
can't control his impulses. So
right.
he sees a boobs and he says something about the boobs. Like, he doesn't see me as a person. He just sees my body parts. And that's offensive to me.
Do you think most women feel the same way?
I would say most healthy women feel this way. I mean, there are some, if you say certain things during, sex, a woman might like it, but that's different context.
Yes.
But
I'm
in
talking
the
about man you
context
don't
of like
even know
outside,
out in public.
strange, I think most women feel that way, and they would back me up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think women go out looking for that kind of attention, for people to tell them, for men to tell them like nice this, nice that. We don't look for that kind of compliment.
Okay, so for the man who is thinking more one-dimensionally, who listened to what you just said, their retort may be, well, if a woman's not looking for a man to pay attention to her feet, why does she wear like the shoes with the thin straps where her foot is basically out? Or if a woman doesn't want a man to comment on her legs, why she wear a short skirt? Or if a woman doesn't want a man to comment on her chest, why does she wear a low neckline?
That's a cop-out.
If a man, wait, one more. If a woman doesn't want a man to say something about her ass, why does she have on form-fitting clothing? Because all these things are being shown off based on the clothes that you choose, woman. So how is it you don't want me to say nothing about it if you're showing it off?
Because I'm not wearing it for men. I'm wearing it for myself. I'm wearing clothes for different reasons on different occasions. And who are you to come and comment on my body and what I'm showing? Is not your body. You shouldn't be commenting on it. You should have enough foresight to think who you're talking to or why you're talking to them, first of all. And just because I'm wearing something, how does that absolve you from having a discerning mind of like when to say and what to say to whom? Don't blame me from what I'm wearing. What about your self-control? What about what you say to yourself? That's just wrong. It's just wrong. Yeah, I may be naked, doesn't mean that you need to say something.
So even though you're out in public wearing a skin-tight short skirt,
if I'm wearing a provocative outfit, is
or something that they see as
what about you? How are you conducting yourself? Because how is my outfit controlling your thoughts and your behaviors? That's the problem with that. Right. So you are basically a subject to the outside stimuli and responses. You can't really self-govern and control yourself. And you say to yourself, well, if I see that, I'm going to look.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying to yourself, like, no, I'm going to give respect no matter what. You don't know that person. You don't know why they're dressed that way. You don't know their background. You don't know what happened that day. You have no idea what people are going through or been through or why it is what it is, right? So who are you to have that kind of judgment and then act on it and say that, oh, well, you shouldn't be wearing that if you don't want me to act that way. That's just a victim mentality.
That's true. I
it is a victim mentality. And I'm sick and tired of men, acting victim and blaming it on women. That's the whole big conversation in today's culture.
Yeah, when something happens.
Yeah, and in general, like just women are so undermined. And now you're putting that guilt on us. It's just not fair because you can't control yourself.
So what advice do you have, parting advice do you have for a man who maybe has this problem, understands what you just said, and recognizes, you know what, you're right. I do need to stop objectifying women like that. I do need to stop saying something about a woman's legs or her ass or her breasts when I see her, because I can tell that it's turning the woman off and hurting my chances of anything happening. How can a man begin to better himself out of that, this mindset that's costing him opportunity?
I mean, deep down, when you start objectifying others, that's judgment, right? You're judging others. And
yeah, even in a positive way.
Yeah, and then when you're judging others, you do so because you're judging yourself harshly. You're judging others because you're judging yourself. So where you start is you have to notice, where are you judging yourself harshly? Where are you objectifying yourself? Because if you weren't objectifying yourself, you'd probably have a different approach. You would probably have more self-control and self-governance over your own automatic responses.
Okay, so I think we're gonna leave it at that, because these are looking good. And
don't objectify me.
See, I need the coaching just as well. That's why we do this show. So my name is Dre Baldwin. You can find me at dreallday.com and on at Dre Baldwin on Instagram. And this
Anna Dolce. You find me at annadolce.com.
And where else? What's about social media?
Instagram. If you go to my website, annadolce.com, there's an Instagram thing there.
And tell them the Instagram
Anna
name.
Dolce or Anna_Dolce.com. I mean, no.
She don't even know where you can find
I don't even know where you find me.
Where they find you on Instagram?
Anna_Dolce on Instagram.
Anna_Dolce on Instagram. All right. You're going to find me
right here.
Touching these stars. That's that. Y'all work on your game. Dre all day.